what's up everybody? It's Josh here again. Welcome back to the channel. And yeah guys, we're not in the garage today. If any of you guys watched my intro video a while back and everything like that, you guys know that I also like to cook, barbecue, do things like that. So today guys, a video I've been wanting to make for a while. It's bacon day guys. So we're making homemade bacon today. It's a long process, but here's the start of the process today. And then we're going to go through, and this video will actually have the whole process. It's about a 7 to 10 day process to make bacon at home, between curing it and then smoking it and then slicing it and things like that. But it does have to sit in the cure for about a week. So right here on the counter, we have our ingredients out. We have about 23 pounds of pork belly. You got your salt, pepper, and your curing salt. That's going to be just the cure portion of it, and then we got our flavors. So we're going to do some maple jalapeno, and some honey garlic. So I'm going to get everything set up here in a minute. I'm going to get that pork belly cut into pieces, and we'll show you how I make bacon. All right, buddy, so the pork belly I buy is in about 10 or 11 pound slabs from Costco. So the first thing I need to do is to cut it into like thirds, because my cure recipe is good for about 3 to 3.5 pounds. So big knife time. And I'm just going to cut this in thirds, cut the other one in thirds, and then we'll start mixing up the cure. And guys, real quick, you see as you cut it, you get that familiar bacon look that you guys are used to seeing. That's going to get a lot darker with the cure and things like that. Okay guys, so now it's time to start my basic cure recipe. This is from Jess Pryle's website, at least a take on it. But the recipe itself is pretty simple. It's just, it's 1 tablespoon of black pepper. It's 3 tablespoons of kosher salt. And this is the important one, guys. It's a 1/2 teaspoon of the curing salt. Do not just eyeball this or whatever. Measure it out, because the nitrates, if you get too many nitrates, it can be dangerous. So like I said, it's just a 1/2 teaspoon of the curing salt. That's it for 3 pounds. From there, it's just a 1/2 cup of, in this case for the maple, it's going to be a 1/2 cup of real maple syrup, guys. Don't get like pancake syrup or Aunt Jemima or anything like that. Get real maple syrup. So it's a 1/2 cup of maple syrup. Then the jalapeno one, we add a little bit more stuff to it, and same thing. But basically your flavorings, especially if you're doing a sweet flavoring, it's basically a 1/2 cup of this, or a 1/2 cup of brown sugar, and we're going to do a 1/2 cup of honey later, and you just throw those in and then mix them up, and then that's your cure for your bacon. But if you wanted to do just plain regular bacon, this is all you need, guys. The 3 tablespoons of salt, 1 tablespoon of black pepper, and the 1/2 teaspoon of the curing salt, and just mix that up and dump it in the bag, and that's regular bacon cure. I go light on the salt just because I don't like bacon overly salty. And it hasn't failed me yet, guys. I've done a couple 100 pounds of bacon this way, and it really comes out good. So I'm going to grab my 1/2 cup measuring cup. I'm going to throw some maple syrup in this, get this mixed up, and we'll go to the next step. All right, guys. So in this one here, I added the 1/2 cup of maple syrup, mixed it up really well, and we're gonna dump this into this plastic bag here. It's a 1 gallon Ziploc bag, and then we're gonna grab one of the sections of belly and put it in there. And then we're just going to mix it around and put it aside, and then they'll all get stacked and put in the fridge, and they're going to spend a week in there. One thing I want to make sure you guys understand too, even if you're doing like I'm doing 6 pieces here, which is like 20 pounds, do each 3 pound piece, make an individual marinade or cure for it, and then do them one at a time, because if you do them all at once, you don't know how much curing salt is going into each one, and you really want to be careful with the curing salts, guys. So we're gonna get this into here. We're gonna scrape everything out of that bowl, put it in there, grab one of the bellies. We're going to put it into the bag, and we'll get it set aside. So. And guys, I usually line my plastic bag into a cup like this because it becomes easier to get it into the bag, because otherwise you're trying to put it in the bag and it's just about impossible to pour wet liquids into a floppy bag. And as you can see, guys, I got a spatula here and I'm scraping it all out so we get all that seasoning and all that curing salt and everything, just about all of it out. And now we're ready to make the next batch here. So then you just take the bag out of the cup, and now we're going to grab a section of the pork belly here. I'm going to put this in the bag. And that's it, guys. We're going to Ziploc this bag shut, and we're going to go put it aside. But I'm going to wash my hands first just to get that raw pork over there. But we'll zip this bag shut. We'll get a lot of the air out of it, and then we'll move on to the next one. All right, guys, so I finished up 3 batches of the maple. Now we're on to the maple jalapeno. The only difference in that recipe, guys, is there is 2 finely chopped jalapenos in there. Now, guys, I take the seeds out, I rinse them, I scoop them out so they're not overly spicy. If you want a little more spicy, leave some seeds in, leave some of this stuff in, or you could do this with a habanero or any other spicy pepper. That's up to you guys, but I like just the flavor of the jalapeno with just a hint of heat. So what I do is finely chop 2 of those. Rest of the ingredients are the same, guys. 3 tablespoons of salt, tablespoon of the black pepper, 1/4 teaspoon of the curing salt, and we're going to dump a 1/2 cup of maple syrup in here. We're going to mix this up. Goes in the bag, goes with the pork belly, and we got maple jalapeno being cured, guys. So I'm going to get that done and get those over there, and then we'll move on to the honey garlic. All right, everybody, for the honey garlic, I got like 6 or 7 cloves of garlic here. Obviously, I got a nice grade honey. I really like Golden Boston, by the way, guys. I use it in my tea and everything. So I got that honey. So what I'm going to do is chop up really fine, as fine as I can get it. I'm going to chop up all this garlic. We're going to add that into, again, 3 tablespoons of salt, 1 tablespoon of black pepper, 1/4 teaspoon or 1/2 teaspoon of the curing salts. And we're going to mix all this together, and that's going to be the cure for our last piece of belly we have. And then they go in the fridge for a week, and we'll go from there. But let me get all this chopped up. Let me get that belly in together, and then we'll wrap up day 1 here, guys. All right, guys. So final cure for the honey garlic. Again, same thing: salt, pepper, curing salt, garlic. All these recipes will be in the description below. I'm going to dump a 1/2 cup of honey here, get it mixed up, put it in the bag, get the pork belly in it, and then these are going to go in the fridge for a week. But let me get this one done, and then we'll wrap up day 1 of the video. All right, guys, here we are at the end of day 1 for the bacon video. So I got all the pork belly is in Ziploc bags with the cures. They're labeled, and now they go in the fridge for a week. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this in the fridge, and then each day we're just going to take the bags and we're just going to flip them. Right now it's just in the fridge, and they go for a nap for a week. So we'll catch up in a week. All right, guys, so the bacon's been in the fridge for a week now, curing. Each day, guys, you just take the bacon and flip it over. That way it gets a nice even cure on the whole thing. So here's a look at it, guys, right now. It's still in the pan here. Basically, like I said, every day, guys, you just flip it over. That way your cure mixture gets the bacon nice and even and comes out really nice, and just, you end up with a nice even cure on your meat. So next thing I got to do is I got to get it out of all these bags here. Rinse it off, and then it's going to go into these pans here, guys. If you see, there's just a cooling rack here, or a drying rack here, and then it's going to sit in here overnight, and it's just going to dry out, and then it'll be ready for the smoker. So I'll give you a shot of that in just a minute. But we got to get it all rinsed and then put in here first. Okay, guys, so we now rinsed all the pork bellies off. And you can see here I have them aligned in these sheets here, these trays. I can't quite get them flat because of the length of the pork belly, guys, but I've done it this way before, where this is how they sit in the fridge overnight to dry out the rest of the way. But they're rinsed, patted dry with a paper towel. And then you're going to notice, guys, on this side here, this is all just the maple bacon on that side. And over here, these first 2 are the maple jalapeno, and the last one is the honey garlic that I'm trying. And you'll notice, if you look here, guys, I put toothpicks in the ones that I know have different flavors, because then I know no toothpick is the maple, the 1 toothpick is the maple jalapeno, and the 2 is the honey garlic, the new flavor we're going to try out here. So these now, guys, are going to go in the fridge overnight. They're going to sit in the fridge overnight until tomorrow morning, and then tomorrow morning they go on the smoker. Alright guys, it's the next day after having the bacon in the fridge overnight. We are now outside in my backyard getting my little Weber smoker set up. So I'll give you guys a view of how I get that set up. But basically we're going to put this on the smoker, 200, 250, somewhere in there. And we're going to let the bacon get to about 135 to 150. It's really just to touch it with some smoke, guys. We're not looking to cook the bacon all the way through or anything like that. I mean, if you go cook it too much and get it too high, you really it turns more like ham than bacon. But yeah, we're just looking to put a little smoke on it and stuff like that. So I'm going to give you guys a view of the setup here now and how we're doing everything. So the first thing is, I got my little Weber chimney here. It's got, you know, about a half or maybe a third of briquettes in it, some paper in the bottom. We're going to get that going in a minute. And then here's my Weber Smoky Mountain, my little Weber bullet smoker. It's, you know, very simple smoker, guys, charcoal based. So I just use regular Kingsford charcoal. I use the minion method. You just throw it in, throw some wood in with it. This is about half full, guys, because we only need this to burn for 2 or 3 hours to really smoke that bacon. But if I was doing a brisket or something else, I would heap that or have that basket just full right to the top of brisket. Got some apple wood chunks in there. And then here's the inside of the smoker itself, guys. Got my T grate. So I can get about half of that bacon on here at once. And we're going to get the temperature probes in there. But like, guys, I keep it really simple. When I'm doing running my smoker, I keep it really simple. Just Kingsford original. I buy the Weber wood chunks at Ace Hardware, and that's it, guys. It's really simple for how I do it. So I'm going to get that chimney started, get those coals burning, then we'll dump them on top of the wood chunks over here. We'll get the rest of it put on top, and then we'll get it set, like I said, 225-ish, and then we'll be on our way to smoking some bacon. Be back in a minute. Alright guys, so we got the coals all heated up in the chimney. We dumped them on top of the wood there, so now we're ready to reassemble the rest of the smoker. So we're going to put the main body on here. I also have water down in the water pan there that they give you with it. It works like a heat sink. Again, I run my Weber just by the book, with the way they intended it to do. I think the Weber engineers knew what they were doing. So we're going to get this smoker together, get it up to temperature, like I said, around that 200, 225 mark. And then we're going to we'll get the bacon put on. Alright guys, the smoker's running. It's right around 203, 205 right now. I have the top grate out for a moment. We're going to put one slab of the maple bacon on the bottom rack and put 2 slabs on the top rack. And then we're going to insert a probe into one of them. Like I said, when it hits like that 140 to 150 mark, we'll pull it. It'll go back in the tray, back in the fridge to cool and rest, and we'll get the other batch onto the smoker here. So, but she's rolling good, guys. Nice clean smoke, and let's get it put on there. Alright guys, bacon is on the smoker at this point, and we're going to throw the lid back on it, get it back up to temperature, like I said, around that 200-ish mark, 225. And we got our temperature probe put into the one slab there, and this is the maple bacon, guys. So hopefully we'll, about an hour or two, we'll have this thing up to temp. We'll get it in the fridge so it can rest before we slice it. Alright everybody, the first batch is ready to come off, so we're going to grab the lid here. Let's see. There's our maple bacon. It's got a good color on it. Like I said, it looks cooked, guys, but it's really not. It's raw in the middle. It's only about 150 degrees. So we're going to pull this off. We're going to get in a pan. This is going to go in the fridge to cool off so we can slice it easier later. And we're going to put the maple jalapeno and the honey garlic on now. So that'll go on for a couple of hours, and then we'll slice later today. Okay guys, after a morning of having the bacon on the smoker, we're back in the kitchen now. It's been sitting in the fridge resting for about 6 or 8 hours now, and it's time to slice the bacon. So here's the maple, guys, and what it looks like now after resting for 6 or 8 hours. So got my cutting board out, got my big brisket slicing knife out, got a couple pans. What I do is I put the clean slices into one, and then I save the ends to make bacon bits and stuff like that after. So I'm going to get the camera set up. I'll start slicing, show you guys a few of the slices, and then we'll catch up in a little bit. Alright guys, so what I tend to do is I get my belly out, right? It's nice and cold now, so it's a little bit firm. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to square up one side of it. I put that aside, and that's what gets chopped up for bacon bits later. We don't waste anything, and then I'll start slicing. So I like my bacon cut thick, so I cut it about 1/8 of an inch thick. But, you know, again, just big knife, just, you know, hold it firm. And like I said, the first thing we're going to do is square up the end. So we're going to take that big piece off the end here. And that goes in the trimming bucket. And you can see here, guys, that's that beautiful bacon, that nice pink color. And it's basically from this point, guys, in the pan, ready to eat. So like I said, I take my big brisket knife and I just look at, you know, about 1/8 of an inch or so. And I just cut down and I pull and I just sit here and hand slice every bit of it. So like I said, guys, I like my bacon cut pretty thick here. So this then is just going to go into this pan, and we're just going to keep cutting, guys, until we're through all 3 bellies, and then we'll put it aside. Then we'll get the maple jalapeno and the honey garlic out. Same thing, we cut it, and then what I usually do, guys, there's 3 of us in my family. There's my wife, my son, and myself. So I usually put 10 slices per package. So that's 3 slices a piece for everybody that's eating, plus 1 for the chef while he's cooking it up. So I'm going to get this sliced up, and then we'll give you a little bit of look at it once it's all sliced up. All right, so this is the yield from just the maple, guys. So there's about 7 packages of bacon here, about 70 slices. Plus I have that cut off ends there. So what I do with the cut off ends, guys, is I dice them up into little pieces to basically make bacon bits out of it. So I use it to make baked beans. We have a potato recipe that has some scallions and stuff like that, so you throw it in with the potatoes and the cheese. Or if you want to just fry them up to eat them with a salad or wherever else you like to have bacon bits, guys. Like I said, I chunk that up into little like 1/4-inch cubes, and then we fry that up and use that for that purpose. So that'll get chunked up and put in a separate bag by itself. And then all of this is going to get vacuum sealed and put in the freezer. But this is just the maple, guys. I still have to cut the maple jalapeno and the honey garlic, so I'm going to put about this much bacon out of those also. And like I said, it'll get packaged up and put in the freezer. So a little more to come in a minute. All right, guys, so here's everything all sliced and ready to go. We got the bacon bits on the end, and we're going to vacuum seal those. Here's the maple bacon in it, or the maple, and then here's the maple jalapeno and the honey garlic, which we're going to try here. So guys, that's it. That's how I do my bacon. Like I said, it's about a week-long process. We're into day 8 right now. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I know this is a motorcycle or Jeep content, but this is one more hobby that I take on and that I enjoy doing is cooking. And this is probably my 8th or 10th batch of bacon that I've made in the last couple of years. But I can tell you guys, homemade bacon compared to what you get in the store, it's a night and day difference, and I really enjoy it. So until the next one, guys, stay safe.